Have you ever observed the area of Greenland? Have you ever observed the area of Greenland in comparison to Africa? It looks like both are having very, very huge areas, right? Both are very, very similar. Unfortunately, the size of Greenland with compared with Africa is 14 times difference. If you see, it is around 2 million square area, it is almost around 30 million. So why they think this? The world map which we see, which we have seen all across our life since our school days, the world map which we see is always looking like this, right? This is wrong. Why it is wrong? Let us try to understand this. Hello all, this is Venkatesh, your faculty for geography. Welcome all of you to Super Coaching UPSC by Textbook. So, as I was saying, since our school days, right? Whether it is your or mine, whatever, when we have seen about the world map, it is how it looks like, right? Even the Google map, which is actually projected out of the same thing, is also looking like this. In fact, this world map, as you see here, is nothing but a Google map. Now, even this is also wrong. Have you ever seen the size here? Right? Let us try to understand the true size of a continent. See, why this obligation? You see here, look at the size between, the actual size. We have a certain projection called Mercator projection. This Mercator projection is the one which is distorting with respect to these kind of things. Let us understand this. Why do you have this challenge? First, you understand the challenges of having a circular one creating into a rectangular area. Understand the challenge. You take a globe, cut the sheet of the world map across the sphere, cut it, then try to spread across as a rectangle. You cannot do that. To understand these challenges, there are different projections which are used by cartographers, the map makers, and that is where the distortion will be shown. Not everything is accurate. To understand with respect to sizes of a country, let us do one kind of an observation. So where there is a certain, there is a certain website which tells you about, the true size of a country. See, there is a website by name True Size. Now let us try to see the actual size of a country from this. Say type Greenland. Okay, Greenland. Look at this. This is the size of Greenland, almost around 2 million square kilometer area. 2 million. Now, you drag this to Africa. You can see here, I am dragging this to Africa. Look at the size now. Look at the size. What happened? It has become very, very short. But look at the size from the world map point of view. Look at the things from the world map point of view. It looks almost very similar in size. Whereas the size of Greenland with respect to Africa varied from 2 million to 18 million. 2 million to 30 million. You can see the area here. So Africa area. Africa versus Greenland. Look at the area wise. You can see here, Greenland is just 2 million square kilometer, whereas Africa is 30 million square kilometer, almost having a 14.5 times the size, right? But look at the variation. So this variations, it is because of something called as Mercator projection. So this is the thing I am trying to tell you. If I wanted to draw the world map according to the sizes of a country, it will look something like this. Look at the world map. It looks something like this. So look at the sizes, how they are shrinking. That is because of the Mercator projection. So what is happening is, what this Mercator projection does is, there is a projection which is called it as Mercator projection. All these are distortions. Look at the size of India. with respect to Africa. Look at the size of India with respect to Europe, right? Look at the size of Russia. It looks very, very big, but that's not the reality. That is because of this Mercator projection. So, in the 16th century, 15th, 16th centuries, you have a Dutch cartographer who has prepared this, Dutch geographer and a cartographer, Gerardus Mercator. He has prepared this thing. Now, his requirements then were very different from the present era. The distortions of the world map which we find is because of this projection. When you see this, these maps can be traced back to the ancient times when exploration took place by using the magnetic compass and pole star for navigation. When he is using the magnetic compass and pole pass, and when he is using the traditional maps which are made on flat surfaces, they gave very, very inaccurate size of the countries or places depending on their position. Now, what is happening is, his objective was only for preparation for maps with respect to navigation. Back then, when the ships used to travel, they are traveling with respect to compass. For example, you are moving from South America to Europe. There is a certain angle which you can show it on a map, right? South America to Europe. When we go by Mercator projection, that line, the angle between South America and Europe, which you can draw across the map as well, it is of the same angle. So, the map is prepared with respect to the perspective of navigations. So, as you can see here, from here, if I wanted to draw the angle from here like this, what is the angle which is prepared? How it is there? If you see that, there is very, very accurate information which will be there with respect to compass, but perhaps not with respect. But the problem only is, when you develop with respect to the angles, with respect to the navigations, the map looks very distorted with respect to the size variations. Just now, as I told you, this is almost around 30 million, this is around 2 million. Does it looks like 30 and 2 million? So, when you go by this Mercator projection, the challenge is, as you move, this is the point you need to remember, as you move away from the equator, the distortion becomes very, very huge. For example, let us see the same thing in the, in the true size. Okay, let us go by this. Now you see here, look at the size of India, right? It looks very good, right? Almost around 3.28 million square kilometers. We know, the Pakistan occupied Kashmir dispute. They are not showing that as part of India. That is a challenge. That is another day for that discussion is for another day. Let us understand this. Now you take this India to northern parts of India. Look at how it is being increasing. Look at the size of India as you move away from the equator, as you move towards the poles. These ads. Okay. So look at this. Look at this as you move away from towards the equator. Look at the size of India, and look at the size of India as you move towards the North Pole. That is the challenge. The area is remaining the same, but the projection on the map of the look at the size of the India, it is something like this, right? So if you wanted to show India as a big, in a very, very quick solution, let us, as per the Mercator projection, put India in the northern hemisphere. Now we all are wearing the, like we are part of the taiga climate, tundra climate, living in igloos and Eskimos. Then the size of India becomes very, very big. So this is the challenge with respect to the Mercator projection. Are you able to follow, all of you? Are you able to follow this? Are you able to follow this? Right? Okay. So please understand why all the world maps are very, very distorted. Look at the size of Alaska, right? Look at the size of Alaska here, and look at the size of America. It also looks very, very similar. But when you go by the actual sizes, by the true size, as I have shown you in the website, true size, look at this. Look at Alaska now, how it is varying. Look at Alaska, very, very small, right? This is the actual projection. By the way, look at Russia, look at Europe, how small it is. But look at the world map, how big it looks like Europe, right? Do the same thing, all of you. It's very, it's a fun task, right? Put it, say, Europe. Okay, what happened? It is not showing the entire one. Okay, I'll go for Russia. Right. Look at this. Look at the size of Russia. How much is Russia? You can see. Look at the Russian size as it comes towards the south. Yes, this is the actual size of Russia. How it is projected high? Look at this. Compare that with respect to India. See here, this is the thing, how it is increasing. Now you see, if you wanted to compare India and Russia's size, either you have to bring Russia to the equator side or you have to take India to the northern side. That is when you will understand the true size of a country, right? So that is the distortion called as the Mercator discussion. Is it interesting, all of you? Is it interesting? Right? Then similarly, put it Alaska. Okay. Okay, this is the Alaska. Look at the size from Alaska with USA. As you bring it down, this should be the smaller one. But it looks very big. Look at the big size. It is because of the distortions which you find because Mercator discussion, this Mercator projector distorts any region as you move from the equator towards the poles. That is the outcome of the discussion. Okay, right. Then, what about the things? I am showing you the same thing in this thing. You see, Egypt, look at the actual position here and look at the actual position here. It becomes very bigger. Look at the Greenland and Africa. Look at Greenland versus Africa. Once you go by the Mercator position, both look the same. If you go by the actual size, this is the variation. Then you see here, then this is the observation. So why did Mercator has done this task? Because his objective is for what? Navigation purposes. Then what is the logic for this? If you wanted to go by pure size, right? If you wanted to go by pure size, this is how the world map actually looks like. Whenever next time when you draw a world map, if this is the world map, look at the Greenland, look at the Antarctica, look at Russia, look at Europe, very small. This is how we have to draw a world map if you go by the pure sizes, right? And this is the actual map which we draw, right? Map with respect to actual size of the country. This is how it looks like. But there are so many distortions. There was one projection which was done by Gall-Peters projection. And if you do this Gall-Peters projection, look at the map. They are very distorted in size. They are not the true shape of the country, shape of the continents, right? Look at the India's shape. Look at the shape with respect to Australia. It is good with respect to size. Size? Yes. What about the shapes? No. The final outcome is no projection, no kind of a projections of, something like a three-dimensional wall on a flat surface on a rectangular one would be true. Each and everything has its own perspectives, has its own positives, negatives. It is just that what is the purpose of a map which we wanted to do? That is how you need to do. Definitely, I would say that as a geographer, I want the kids, I want you, I want myself to be following this map, which is actually talking about the true colors of with respect to the true colors, rather than they are talking about, the true sizes of a country. This is a challenge we all have. When I wanted to show a two-dimensional image, when I wanted to show a world map, which is actually a world which is actually flat, spherical, something like a geoid to be precise, something like a circular, spherical. You wanted to show in a rectangular. These are the challenges we have, right? So this is why the things are. I hope you all have understood this, right? If you wanted to, whatever the final outcome for this discussion is very simple. Mercator projection is meant for navigation back in the past. But the problem with this, as you go from the equator towards the polar regions, if your country is from the polar region, it will be distorted. That is the thing. To solve this, what is the solution? Different projections were came up with respect to sizes, but they distort the shape. So everything has its own pros and cons. It is just based on the projections and the cartographers which we need to see. As a common man, nothing varies as we can easily understand. As a geographer, what I can do is I can explain the concepts through a globe, which will be much more better rather than this kind of thing. That is about this projections, why all world maps are wrong, which we all have seen since our life, since in our school days. That is the thing. Hope you all have understood this video, like this video, right? Share it to your friends so that you know it's a transfer of knowledge. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring, so as even knowledge, right? You can transfer the knowledge. They will understand why the projections are so. That is about this. And if you want the PDF, you can get into the Telegram channel. Don't forget, if you wanted to get this fun thing, go to the website, True Size of a Country, and look at the distortions by yourself. You will get to understand. Hope you all have liked this video, loved this video. And if you want more such kind of things, you can always subscribe to our channel for further updates. Right then, all of you, thank you. Have a nice time. We'll come back again with an interesting topic tomorrow, same time, 3 p.m. Thank you.